Jordan Henderson was booed by England fans against Australia. Now, I'm not going to pretend those England fans are the most passive of fan bases in the world. We all remember Beckham, we all remember Maguire. That one was for good reason, by the way. And now it's happening to Henderson. Henderson got picked for the England team by Gareth Southgate, raised a few eyebrows, raised a few blood pressures, myself included. I could not understand. Go check out the tier list I made yesterday where I ranked every England player, and Henderson ranked bottom alongside Calvin Phillips and Harry Maguire for just should not have been called up. Now, don't get me wrong, Henderson is a Liverpool legend and always will be. He's going to go down as one of the greatest ever players in the history of our club. He won everything there was to win. But in the eyes of a lot of fans, he shattered up the wall with the move to Saudi Arabia. And quite frankly, it's hard to gauge whether or not the boos in that stadium were because he moved to Saudi or because he was just picked for the England team. It's a bit of a middle ground at the moment. Main problem with the move to Saudi is Henderson was a big supporter of the LGBTQ plus community, and we're not going to get into the political landscape of it. There's too much to discuss, but it's very hypocritical. It's like Jimmy Savile giving Philip Schofield grief for the age of his lovers. It doesn't make any sense. Henderson moved to this country for possibly good intentions, good reasons, but let's be real, we all know why he went. It was for the money, which I understand, but was it the right decision? Now, following the game, Henderson's tweeted out, I've got it on the screen here, he's saying, it's always an honour to represent my country, never take it for granted, extra special to lead the team out at Wembley. It's all well and good. But clearly, he's ignoring the situation that's gone on. He's sweeping it under the rug and pretending that it never happened, which you cannot do. If anything, Henderson needed to reach out and explore why in more detail this is happening. Not saying he should have asked and put a fan poll up by any means, but he clearly knows there's something wrong. Clearly, the fans are making it obvious that they've got a problem with him. Is it because he was picked up to the England team over players like James Ward-Prowse, for example, a dead ball specialist who's fantastic in a West Ham team in the top half of the table, a leader who was at Southampton, a captain, a excellent all-round player, and Henderson, someone who can't pass the ball forward to save his life, is still being consistently called up by Gareth Southgate. Does not make sense. Is it because he's gone to Saudi and the LGBTQ plus community has a problem with this because it's a hypocritical move from him? He's saying he said in an interview with The Athletic that it's nothing to do with money, it's to do with what's best for my family. Is taking your family to a country is illegal and there's all the issues going on there at the moment. The best thing for your family, taking them to a country where they really will not speak the language, and clearly, you've taken them from Liverpool to Saudi Arabia. That is a stark contrast. And from what we're hearing reports wise, all the big name players in that country, or a large number of them, do not enjoy being there and want to leave. We've heard rumours of Benzema. Jota has already left. We've heard Kante, apparently there's rumours of him. And if you're upsetting Kante, there's something wrong with your league. Now, we need to give Southgate criticism here. So, Southgate follows the Roy Hodgson pattern of picking players based on name, based on club. Henderson should not be called up to that England team. There's no reason for it. I love Henderson to death. I don't agree with a lot of the decisions he's made since leaving Liverpool, but, hey ho, he's not at my club anymore. He can do what he pleases. I understand he's gone to Saudi for a payday. I fully get that, but it's a poor league in comparison to the Premier League. If Henderson was still in the Premier League, you could maybe argue it because at least he's playing in a competitive league with competitive players and competitive teams. He's gone to Saudi where, yeah, they've got all these big name players. You've got Al Nassr, Ronaldo, then you've got Al Hilal, who have the likes of Neymar there, Benzema's in the league, Milinkovic, Savic, Kante, Fabinho, all these big name players, but it's just MLS 2.0. You can sign all the big players you want. It doesn't make the league competitive because everyone else around the really good players are still shit. It doesn't make a difference. Henderson going to that league diminishes his ability and it lowers his credibility. So why is he still being picked for this squad? And it was clear there was a drop off in his ability already. every pass he made just was sideways or backwards. That might be tactics. It seems very Gareth Southgate, and maybe that's why Southgate likes picking him because he likes boring football. He likes tea with quadruple milk. Maybe that's why he's picked them. Maybe that's why Henderson has been selected. But when you've got fans clamouring for James Ward-Prowse to be in that team, anyone other than Boredom Henderson, it doesn't sit right. And obviously, there's going to be malcontent amongst the fans. Now, I get experience is important in an England team. I get that. I understand that you need leaders in a team. And Henderson's 79 caps, I believe, and he did lead the line for England in terms of he was the captain. But there's other experienced players in that team. You've got Kyle Walker, you've got John Stones, who's just won a treble. Him and Kyle Walker both have. You've got Jordan Pickford, who's been battling relegation with Everton. Not the best experience, I know, but he's still a leader. Harry Kane, you know, there's all these other players in the team, and you're telling me Henderson is the one you're going to for leadership. He is a leader, but it's not what England need. We don't need leadership. We need someone who's going to be effective in midfield, who's going to unlock our exciting players, not pass it back to the defence when we're playing Australia in one of the most boring games of football I've ever watched in my life. Doesn't make an ounce of sense. And you know what the worst thing about this is? The fact that Southgate came out and said that he doesn't understand what the booing's about. Henderson's qualities are massively important. He doesn't understand why the fans are turning on him. This just screams to me that Southgate is picking Henderson for the next international call-ups. And sorry, James, you're probably going to be watching it from home again. It's insulting because where does form come into this? Where does you're playing well for your club? You deserve this call up. The international call up is the biggest honour you can receive in football. You're called up to your country to play. It's huge. And you should be rewarded for how well you play on the pitch for your club side. I understand you could play in a worse league and do really, really well, but the Saudi league is not showing signs of that. If anything, the players over there are just getting worse and worse and worse. Yeah, Ronaldo's scoring stupid amounts of goals, but that's because he's playing against shit opponents. Neymar will probably smash up the league. Mitrovic, I think, is their second highest scorer. It tells you all you need to know, and it's insulting to our intelligence. And Southgate really just needs to open his eyes. Maybe it might be in the tactics. It might be Henderson offers something that I'm not seeing, or a lot of fans aren't seeing, because clearly there was a lot of fans who were irritated that he was picked. But it's just so negative. Southgate needs to be held accountable and know that these boos, maybe they weren't even aimed at Henderson per se. Maybe it was just using him to get to Southgate because that game against Australia just summed everything up. We were so drab and dry and dull, and we've really got to get our shit together. Henderson being called up is just the antithesis of everything negative about this England squad. We have some of the best players in the world, some of the best players in England history, you could argue. And they're being on. There's no. He doesn't know how to use them because he still persists with players like Harry Kane, not Harry Kane, Harry Maguire, Henderson, Calvin Phillips, players that just don't offer anything. And Henderson is just one of those players. I said I love Henderson for what he's done for Liverpool, but in terms of the player he is now, he's in his mid 30s. Doesn't offer anything going forward. His leadership qualities, yeah, they're still there maybe, but you've got other players who can do it, who are actually captains of their team. I mean, it baffles me. It really does. With regards to the boos, I understand it. How else are fans supposed to get their vocalization out? How else are they meant to express themselves other than tweet, which is just going to go on the internet and never get seen by the player unless a million people retweet it? You're there in person. And a lot of it could be pantomime. It could be one person's booed, another person started doing it, and it just sort of spirals. But Henderson was subbed off, and that's when they all started. Now, To me, that's football fans showing vocalization for what they believe was an incorrect squad call up by Gareth Southgate and an incorrect decision tactically by the England squad. Henderson should not be in that team. It breaks my heart that all this has gone on with him, but he did it to himself. He went to Saudi for the money and turned his back on a large community that followed him. He says he doesn't, but obviously it hurts to go to that country where homosexuality is illegal and a large portion of your fan base and community is based in the LGBTQ plus community. And he did it all for money, essentially. No matter what he says, he did this for the pay. And I get that it's his career. He's gone to this country to earn copious amounts of money and then retire. That's fine. I completely get that. But all the extra problems with it just make it a nightmare. And I think England fans were right in their response. I feel for Henderson in a way, but Southgate needs to really, really consider who he picks for this squad going forward. If we want any chance at the next Euros, we really need to get a grip of things because the way things are going at the moment, if players like Henderson and Phillips and Maguire continue to get picked, we're just going to go backwards. And the minute we face a big team like we have in the past two tournaments, bar in Germany, who were weakened because they had no good management at the time, we're going to get thrashed again. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. Remember to check out my latest video, the tier list of the England players, and there'll be more content coming out soon. Thank you very much.